Well, I have just seen Saint Seiya Knights of the Zodiac, the first of the 6 episodes available at least. I believe the rest will come in a few months. Now, general thoughts after watching? Well, it's a mixed bag. We'll go over the things that crossed my mind while I was watching. Pegasus Fantasy's open was solid, especially when the fantasy line actually hits. The outro is cool too. The voice acting has its ups and downs, and sometimes it's very fitting for the character, and the emotion they're trying to present comes off very well. Other times it's very bland, monotone, and sometimes just terrible. The animation is not great. Even though it's much shorter than the classic anime, each episode is like worth 2 of the original anime that did have filler problems, yet still it looks cheap. The animation is repeated too consistently to just not be noticeable. Their faces at times can be very stiff and weird, and the lips really struggle to match the voice acting sometimes. Now the story. There are many changes from the original anime and manga that I may cover in another video, but I will present the most interesting bits here. Seiya is an orphan. Those thugs you see in the trailer are actually somewhat friends to Seiya, and they upload a video of him using Cosmos. Seiya is then chloroformed and sent to a secret location where Kaido gives some exposition. Seiya here is presented as basically the chosen one. Now in this giant unprotected building, our villain walks in, and his plan is to basically create saints and defeat the gods. Thankfully, he does not steal too much screen time or hurt the plot, but he also does not advance the plot in any way that would make things flow faster. He's kinda pointless so far. The pacing in the story is not completely terrible, but you can feel it rushing to events, which unfortunately causes scenes to lose impact. There's not enough time to sit and digest certain scenes. There's not much more I can say without going to hard spoilers, but honestly there are only 6 episodes, not much I can say anyway. I really want to get into the characters now. One thing I was surprised to find out is everyone not named Seiya had a name change. Hyoga is now Magnus, Shiryu is now named Long, Athena is named Seiya, and Iki is named Maro. Why they felt the need to change the names, I have no idea. Another unfortunate thing that plays stories that are rushed is characters have their personality told and repeated to you instead of it actually being well presented. And unfortunately the characters' stories are rushed as well, besides Seiya and Iki. I was kinda looking forward to Dragon Shiryu making the waterfall reverse in this animation, but they skipped it. Guess it was too much for the budget. The character's personality, even though we saw not a lot of it, is more or less the same as in the classic. Even Shun, now a girl named Sean. As far as she goes, now it could have been bad. She could have just been an American strong girl type or a generic action girl, but no, she is a sensitive pacifist, and boy do they want you to know that. Anyway, it's not terrible, but not interesting either. Marion and Cheyenne are different here. Eagle, I'm 90% sure is Seiya's sister, which is a change that I don't think hurts the story. Cheyenne does not wear a mask, which is a fuck you to the lore and the connection they originally had in the story. Also, Marion looks like a child. I honestly thought she was going to be the same rank as Seiya first looking at her. Seiya I actually like here. He's nothing special, but he has personality and is fairly likable, even though he sounds kind of like a generic hero at times. Athena, while she was never that interesting in the anime or manga, she stinks here. Barely one-dimensional character that just sits in the background and tells others how good and not evil she is. Iki has it the best here. He is given the most screen time and backstory besides Seiya. He looks cool, he is cool, and they did his tragic backstory well, even showing blood, the only blood in all 6 episodes I believe. Now we'll finish up by going over the best and worst part of this remake. It added something that almost completely lacking in the original anime and manga: comedy. The jokes, while not always landing, the majority of the time always gets a chuckle out of me. The worst part, no question, is the action. I would not say it flat out sucks if not for the positive things. The lightning effects are a nice touch. Characters dodging techniques can look good, and when they are just punching and kicking each other with effects that look like someone pressed the fast forward motion on the VCR, it looks kinda cool. But overall it's just bad for a variety of reasons. One being is that the sound effects are really lacking, especially Seiya's meteor fist, which just leaves a soft thudding sound on impact, like someone throwing a ball really hard against a car. The music can be good in the background but does little for the actual action. The limited animation doesn't do much to help, sadly. Also, the lack of banner damages like cracks on the armor for most of the characters, as well as lack of blood, really takes away the intensity. But more than anything, the pacing. Fights are over way too quickly. There were short fights in the original, but there was enough time to establish danger and characters to show off their combat skill. But here, it just ends. All this leaves you with action that's inferior to the classic in basically every way, and flat out not very good. It removes the epicness and intensity. Overall, my thoughts, honestly, for kids that never heard of the series before, it's just fine. It's fast paced, just enough action, only a smidge of blood and maybe a curse word or two. I think it's fun and interesting enough to gather their attention. So for kids, I give it a solid 7 out of 10. But for adult newcomers and older fans, honestly, I don't think there's much here for you. It's about a 6 out of 10 for you, honestly. If new fans are still interested, I will link the classic anime below and a link to the free mobile game that's shockingly very good and does the story very well, Saint Seiya Awakening. Well, that's my thoughts without looking at any reviews after release, and can't wait to get others' opinion. For now, like, sub, and please tell me what you think. I am very interested to hear later.